What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Caffeinated and Overclocked podcast, where this week we're going to be talking about Xbox raising prices as well as Nvidia investing into Intel. My name is Far Gassier, and I've got my co-host of Frugan here. How you doing on this wonderful day, buddy?
I am doing fantastic.
You know, I like that T-shirt that you got on. I somewhat recognize that T-shirt. For those who don't know, the Mothman Festival is going on right now. The Shiny Honey Club. You know, you got to touch the statue when you go up to Point Pleasant.
I think somebody got this for me.
I did. That's why I was like, oh, I recognize that T-shirt. But so today, the first topic we want to talk about is on windowscentral.com. We'll have it linked down in the description below. But it's talking about Microsoft raising prices on the Xbox consoles amid the tariff pressures. And you got to wonder, is it just time for people to genuinely buy a PC? It's a thought that I have in my brain because Xbox, PlayStation, the prices are up there a lot. I mean, for a 2 terabyte Xbox Series X, it's right there going to be the new price. It's going from $730 to $799, which still for a box that plays as your media and all that, that's not a bad price. But you can do pre-builts cheaper than that. You can be a couple of generations back and have something that performs a lot more than a Series X. What do you think on this one?
It's crazy that the prices of this keep going up because they just went up earlier this year by, I believe it was $50. Because we know when the Series X launched in 2020, they were, what, $500?
It was something. I think it was, and it was during the pandemic, and like prices for resale were up there.
Oh my gosh.
God,
I got lucky and got a pre-order for it.
See, I have a Series S, but I never play it, and I only got it, and I had a PlayStation 5, but one of the dudes at work, his went out, so I sold it to him. Because I just don't really play on the console anymore. It seems I'm not, and I don't say this to like hate on my console friends and like the community out there, but playing on PC is just a different, more open experience to me because we don't have to have a subscription service. And that's, dude, that I didn't even think about that into this price. Mm-hmm. Think about this. The Xbox and PlayStation, to be online, you have to have a subscription service. Xbox Game Pass, then PlayStation and all that. So like that's for like the PlayStation price being like 800 something bucks, the Xbox going to be 800 something bucks. That's not even equating the 12-month service that you have to have each year just to play online.
No, it doesn't. And it's insane that in this day and age that for console systems you have to have online. I mean, that's the same for Nintendo too. You can say the same thing about them because you have to have Nintendo Switch Online to play online. So at this point, the only thing where you don't have to pay for playing online with somebody is PC.
And like we have services that you can pay online to play with people, but it's like Game Pass and like some other services like Amazon stuff. But like, yeah, we got Steam. You buy it once, and while you may understand that Steam has some things that are going on in the background where technically you have to remember you don't own it. But we can just buy once and not have to worry about like having to update, a subscription or anything like that. So, I mean, like, honestly, to me, if you could find some good used hardware, even if it was like a 2070, a 2080, you could build a pretty nice 1080p or even a 1440p machine for under $1,000. You could definitely build a 1080p machine that does good over like probably 60 FPS, like constant, and for well under $750. That like
at this point it's getting to the point to where it's really not worth it. I mean, true, the only reason I still have my Xbox is because it does get used very seldom for a game. It's more of, like I've said before, is I'll lay back here on this bed and watch TV on the TV. Right. And that's what I use it for. I don't use it for much gaming anymore. I mean, shoot, we talked a lot last week about me getting rid of my PS5, which that did happen, and I got the Switch too.
Right, and
but it's just I don't know, the console gaming scene right now, especially in just really in America right now, is prices is
constantly going up. It's just. Yes. And I can understand pricing going up, and I'm one of those people that I don't mind paying $80 for a video game as long as it's worth $80. You know, as long as it's a good story, it's a good game, it brings me in there, it makes me escape a little bit because it's one of those, I don't mind paying that because I remember paying $50-$60 for N64 games back in the late 90s. And so still only to have it at, you know, a $20 deviation from that over inflation over the years is honestly crazy to my brain. But I do understand where people don't have that extra income, and $20 is $20. And it's definitely one of those things that sometimes you don't have the extra $20. I remember being in college and working 2-3 jobs, being like, well, I guess I'm eating ramen because, you know, elsewhere, you know, I would do this, but I can't do this. But like, so my wife in the living room, she was never a gamer, but then she wanted to start playing video games a few years back. And she didn't want to get a PC. She wanted a all-in-one, you know, like bit. And it's like, hey, let's do PlayStation, because I had a PlayStation 4 in there, and I had that Series S in there. And she's like, all right, this is great for me. And the more she got to playing, she would have these little moments where I wish I could do this, and I was like, well, I can do that on PC. And I said that enough times during her Fallout 4 playthrough of where she got stuck at, and I was like, well, if you had console commands, I could get you through this, but I don't know how to do that on Xbox, and you'd have to look up a guide because I don't know how to do that on Xbox or PlayStation. And she finally came around to being a PC player now, and she plays with the Xbox controller because she sits on the couch and she plays on the TV. I built her. It's about $1,000-$1,200 system, and it handles 1440p perfectly. She's always at 60 FPS, and this was like a year and a half ago. So really, I could have built that for her now for probably under $900, $1,000, depending on what's on the used market currently. And honestly, that's one thing I want to talk about is that, like, with all these prices, like, what do you think should people buy new hardware, or should more people, if they don't mind not having a warranty, like to save $100 or so bucks, go to the used market? Because for me,
I mean, I don't see anything
used.
wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with going to the used market. It's just you got to be careful who you buy from. I mean, that's with anything though. That's
right.
New or used. It's be careful who you buy from. But if you're trying to save some money, go ahead and go to that used market. Go to Facebook Marketplace. Go to eBay. Go to people still use Craigslist?
I don't know. I think some people might still use Craigslist, but from what I could tell back when I was looking at like this chair, it just seemed like it was a bunch of scams. And that's another thing with Facebook Marketplace as well. It is full of scams right now. So if you, and this is not sponsored by them. It's just a website that I've seen LTT and them used. Jawa will have it in the description of this video. You can buy pre-built, you can buy hardware, and there's a warranty and stuff over there, at least as long as you buy from them. And it's like with eBay. You always have that money back guarantee, but also don't forget that there are Amazon warehouse deals, like Amazon outlet, Best Buy outlets. There's one or two outlets here in like Georgia and Atlanta, and you can get open box stuff really cheap. And there's still, like, you can still get the protection plan on stuff like that. So you don't have to go to a yard sale and pray that you get something, or meet somebody in a back alley. You know, there's a lot of ways.
Even Walmarts nowadays are having a PC builder section. I mean, one of the Walmarts around here has graphics cards and power supplies and, you know, memory and stuff like that. But they're more and more frequent that it's becoming a norm now. You're seeing it in smaller stores. It's not just a tech store.
And I'm really glad Micro Center is going more around everywhere, because I swear to God, if I could just buy from one store and it was a box store, it would be Micro Center. The amount of selection, there's so many things. And also too, remember, they're like, Google is one of your best friends, because just because you don't know, I don't remember the Micro Center branding for their power supply, but it's a really good power supply, but it's like half the cost of money because of the simple fact that they don't have the like markup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we've only been to the one down in Charlotte, which is the closest one, once, but even then, man, I really need to go back down there and look. But even then, its prices you can find really good deals there.
Yeah,
But you
it's
look online, try to find some cheaper stuff, but you can build a PC almost cheaper than you can buy a console at this point.
and it used to be completely opposite. It's like there was no way you were going to build a PC, that heckin' like cheap. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But now, next up, if you want to kick on it, I'm going to reset my NDI link because it's slowing down a little bit. But if you want to talk about Nvidia investing into Intel,
So our next topic is Nvidia investing into Intel, which is insane, but could be good for multitude of things. Not just for bigger PCs, but for laptops, for handhelds, potentially even maybe tablets down the line. I mean, Lenovo could potentially work with that too, but investing some money into Intel to make their chips better and maybe actually give AMD a run for their money.
see, and that's the thing a lot of people don't think about is that in business, competition is key for the consumer, and it's
Hmm.
amazing because like if you look at Intel, maybe their desktop chips right now aren't so great. Well, neither was AMD back in the day when Bulldozer. But look at AMD now and look at Intel, but the real big thing that makes me excited about this deal is the simple fact that the efficient cores, like the efficient CPUs for Intel, is an insane, like, it's a value bit. So, like, handhelds, like the new Xbox ROG Ally, however you want to say that name, whatever it is, like, think about, like, where technology is going to be in handhelds later down the line. And one thing it's crazy to think about is the percentage that is owned of Intel stock now, and it's not just Intel itself. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
genuinely. I think the U.S. government owns what 10% or something like that, but
Something like that. I can't remember exactly.
but it's
Hello,
it's
white screen. Sorry.
yeah, no, that's I was also resetting the link again because like my home network is experiencing some slower difficulties today. And using NDI even between on my local network, there's a little bit of traffic and it's just a little bit slower, so I having to reset this. But I think the US government owns 10% of Intel now, and this 5 billion, I think it's gonna be 5%
Mhm.
owned by Nvidia. So now Intel has the U.S. government and Nvidia. And God, how long has Nvidia wanted to be on the x86 platform? Like it's been forever that they like wanted to be because they've been wanting to be a CPU company. Like
Mhm.
design it and then have somebody else make it because there's not a lot of chip manufacturers in the world. But yeah,
No, and
go ahead.
this could be something really good for them. I mean, for both companies. And I'm really excited to see what the possibilities could be for this.
Mm-hmm.
Could we see more better Intel chips? Could we see handhelds actually using Intel chips versus AMD chips and they could run better? Who knows?
I mean, that's the thing about it is like the future, like there's a lot of people that are very understandably worried about what this can do as far as the future goes because it's to develop AI. And that just seems like it's a thing that everybody does. This what they're using now. So what AMD is talking about naming their new chip lineup. I look, we get it. AI is a big thing, but you don't have to put it on every single box. It's like iPhones saying how great titanium is, and now with the new iPhones, it's like no, aluminum. Aluminum is the best. It's just I get your marketing strategy, but for the love of God, just like tell it like it is for once in a while, like because of it just gets frustrating, gets like kind of tiresome. But I'm not too worried about what this is going to do for the future. It'll be a nice little see what happens,
Hmm.
in 5 or 10 years, because this isn't going to be something that you really
No.
see anything. Like it's $5 billion, and then you may see it in 5, 10 years, something
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
this is something that's gonna take time. This isn't gonna happen overnight. We like you said, we won't see anything on this in the next year or two. It's just gonna be, we might hear snippets here and there. Hey, we're working on this. We're working on this. We're working on that. We're not gonna get anything fully until 5, maybe 5 years.
I could see it. I could see in 3.
Yeah.
if they have a lot, like if they put a lot of effort in, and I mean they're just throwing $5 billion in, so I expect it in, but like it's one of those things that I'm excited to see what the future holds for this, as well as, hey, if folks invested into Intel, by the way, this is not a stock tip or anything like this, but hey, those people that like were holding on to their Intel stock, they saw a nice little like jump. You know what I mean? It was
Uh-huh.
like the Nvidia invested $5 billion in Intel's common stock at a purchase price of 23.28 per share, and that was a rather large like jump up from you're buying $5 billion worth of stock. There was a nice little jump in there. I think it was late 90s or something like that. That Intel hasn't seen that sort of a jump. And if you want this
Something like that. Yeah.
article, it's down in the description as well. It's actually from Nvidia themselves. You just go to the horse's mouth for this type of info, because Intel and Nvidia both released kind of the similar statement saying what they're looking for. It's not a lot of there, but it definitely is something that we wanted to talk about in the podcast and be like, this I could see being a good thing down the road, like for
Hmm.
handhelds. I mean, because like AMD's got a hold on everybody right now because they have some of the best efficient chips and APUs. So if you could see like the Intel, like do you have a guesstimate on what this is going to do to Arc? Like its discrete division, not like it's like, mobile side. Like I don't see Arc going anywhere, and maybe this makes
No,
Arc a little bit better.
it potentially could make the arcs a little bit better, and boost Nvidia's repertoire. I guess.
Hey, getting fancy
They're
over there.
oh. But no, I don't see the arcs going anywhere.
No,
Considering Intel has, excuse me, especially because Intel has put so much money into it, and they're not bad cards. I mean, you had one at one point. I
mm-hmm.
have one in my work laptop. It's not bad. I mean, it can't run like Borderlands 4, but it can run like Balatro perfectly fine and have no issues on it. So
Right,
it,
exactly.
it's I don't see them going anywhere, but this could, help Nvidia in there with a lower range market of cheaper cards for people.
I definitely think it could be a good thing for the community in like having more access to more gear, because of the simple fact, like we said, like competition is absolutely key. It's something that I love because the consumers are only going to benefit when this is going on. You know what I mean? That it's a good thing for consumers to have a more competition of like AMD, Intel, Nvidia going after each other, doing their whole deal, and that way we get the most bang for the buck. Because remember, that's how Ryzen started with AMD.
Hmm.
Intel was giving us the same 4 or 6 core over and over again, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and then hey, guess what, guys? Here's AMD stepping back on the stage with Ryzen, and oh, did we tell you we're giving you 8 cores, 16 threads? And look at all these PCIe lanes that we're giving you access to, and then it got better from there, and now Intel is limping along. And I'm going to be real with you. I was kind of worried about Intel there for a minute. Like as far as like a company in general, because they lost a lot of stock price. They had to lay off a lot of folks and stuff like that. So it's one of those things that it definitely had me worrying about like what's going to happen. Is Intel, is AMD about to really take over? And I think in the past like 6 to 12 months, Intel is finally, like maybe even 24 months, Intel is finally starting to lose market share in the server side. I have friends in
Hmm.
the industry that are saying, "Oh yeah, I went with AMD. I've always been Intel." I'm like,
Yeah, for servers, you always usually go Intel, but it's to the point to where people are doing AMD, and because even like when I was looking at new servers recently for work, like, oh, do I want to do AMD? Do I want to do Intel? I mean, Intel's having a lot of issues and so on and so forth. But you are hearing AMD more in the server side, which is insane because it's not something you ever would have thought you would hear.
no. And I mean to tagline their like server side bit, it's epic, and like it's like I said, it's nice because where the server market goes, that's where the like gaming and everything goes. If you really think about it, because like the money maker, it's not gamers. Gamers aren't the like money making like we like to think we are. It's the server side. It's the business enterprise type stuff. And
Hmm.
if the enterprise starts going mainly AMD, then it starts to eat up some of that market share. It's definitely going to show on the bottom line, and I think it's a good thing that Nvidia and them are getting in and doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me ask you this now: do you think with Nvidia investing into Intel, do you think this could eventually down the line lead to a merger of some sort?
I don't think the U.S. government would let a merger happen. I don't think anybody would let that happen, especially now with the U.S. government owning some
Hmm.
of Intel. Um, because you got to think about it. I mean, it would make sense because AMD does CPUs, GPUs.
Yep.
But if there was a merger, it would be Nvidia buying Intel out. You know,
That's how I would see it
I couldn't
if
see I
that were
couldn't
to
see it
happen.
being the other way around. I don't think Nvidia and really honestly in that kind of scenario you have two bulls butting heads. Like Intel's been around a long time, Nvidia's been around a long time. We know the reports of what it's like for Nvidia partners to work with Nvidia. The hearsay that comes from that allegedly,
Mm.
don't come after us. We've just seen the reports, you know, and we've heard what it's like working with Intel sometimes. So I don't know. Like it's one of those. I don't. It's maybe not even the U.S. or FCC or whoever it is, SEC. I don't think either company would want to take that and be like, oh, we got bought out by this company, and it would be
Yeah.
some stupid number if it did.
Oh
But
God, yeah. It
but
would have to be upwards
because
billion of dollars.
I would think that Nvidia uh would be the one wanting to buy them out because of how much over the years they've wanted to get into the x86 and they just couldn't get a license for it. Like
Yeah.
I thought for a while they were going to buy out one of the small license holders and then get theirs, but a lot of people made it to where, oh yeah, you can't transfer that x86 license, so you got to get one on your own. But oh, sorry about that, buddy. We can't let you get that. But I mean, like I know it's a short like podcast episode, but I know one thing we've been talking about is wanting to get it like sub 30 minutes. So
Mhm.
let us know what you think about like the shorter episodes, and maybe we can start doing some like dedicated videos down the line. Let us know any kind of thoughts or anything that you have. But that's about it for us. What do you think about that? I mean, like we talked
Yeah.
about some two big things, and like genuinely go buy a PC. I know it sucks like transferring over to PC, but it's something that I've done. I went to console to PC, and genuinely I never want to go back. But seriously, from a Frugan and myself, thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us on the Caffeinated and Overclocked podcast. Y'all have a great, wonderful day out there in the wasteland. Peace. Love you.
Peace.